All righty, beautiful people. I did this last night when I said I would, but I did it on my timeline. And I wondered why my mother was actually commenting, and a few other people that I know were commenting. I'm thinking, what are they doing on my Facebook business page? Well, it's because I did it on my own timeline as opposed to here. So I'm really sorry that I did that. That's why I thought I'd put it here. And people are generally watching the replay anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, so sorry about that. So this week we're talking, or I'm talking all things texture term cards and what you can do with them. So there's two different games you can do. So I printed these ones off. I just want to show you before I share my screen. Printed these ones off using coloured paper. Now these these are printed to a page, so that's why they're little. They're little, but that was because it's sometimes easier just to photograph things that way and show you as opposed to a whole page. But if you're going to do something, I suggest that when you are doing them, print them full size, but print in lots of different colors, because that way, if I show you, when you're actually doing sets, I've got it in the presentation anyway, when you're doing sets, it's really easy to hand out sets and go, okay, you're a green set, you're an orange set, blue set, whatever happens to be, whatever color paper you happen to have. Okay, because then it makes it easier to actually, as I said, hand out, pull back, and because you know which cards belong to what. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Firstly, I'm going to show you what the actual product looks like and how it comes, and then I'll talk about how to set the cards up and also what sort of two games to play. Okay, so I'll share my screen first. And again, I did this so wrong last night, so I don't know what I was doing. Okay, so this is the music memory game texture, but don't let that memory music game fool you, because there are more than one game that you can play with this. Okay, so I'll give you some instructions for memory. Whoops. Matching, alphabetical order, another go as a class group. Okay, and then here's the term cards. And as you can see, this is the definition. It's deliberately been set up like this. Definition, sorry, term, definition. Term, definition. So if you wanted to play a different type of game, which I'm going to show you at another later stage with these types of cards, you don't actually have to print them out individually. Okay, so there's more than one sort of game you can do and more than one way you can use these. I use these sorts of things all the time in my classroom. So there's some more and some more and some more and a little bit more and one more page. Oops, no, one more page. There we go. Okay, so there's a stack in there already. And as I said, that's 8 to the page. And the best thing is when you actually cut it out, cut those out, you actually get 9 to a page on an actual laminating pouch, which is pretty amazing. Okay, so I will share my screen with my PowerPoint now and show you how to set these up and some games to play with them. Alrighty, so welcome. As I said, I'm Jooya from Jooya Teaching Resources, and I'm going to briefly explain to you what all these things are and how to use these cards. So we're going to look at the 8 elements of music, how to make these term card sets, 2 games that you can play with the term cards, and the benefits of actually using them in the classroom. Because why would you go to this effort of making them if there's no real reason for actually using it to your benefit? Okay, because we don't really want to do that. All right, I should be just checking. It does say I'm going live. If I'm going live in the same spot, I'm going to be really cranky with myself. Nope, it means I'm right here. Okay, good. I've got the right page today. Seriously, can't believe I did that. All right, so 8 elements of music. Again, these are just in alphabetical order. Dynamics, form or structure, harmony, melody, rhythm, texture, timbre, and tonality. Now, for me, I use the word duration for rhythm, and I use the word tone color or the term tone color for timbre. And for myself, melody, harmony, and tonality come under the topic or the concept of music called pitch. Okay, so there's just a few slight differences. They're the same thing. It's just, just put into a different bucket, essentially. Okay, so the term cards, let's have a look. So as I said, I've already shown you what these look like in the actual product. And so there's some pages you get there. And here's another lot. So that's all of them. You could see that one's blank. Okay, you could actually create some more cards with that one if you really wanted to. And this is what they look like when you've actually used them the way that I'm going to suggest today. Okay, so this is some of the cards. Okay, so you can see a a term, a definition, term, definition, term, definition. Alrighty, so to make this set of cards, okay, you are going to need the memory cards terms, okay? You're going to need some colored paper. It's up to you what colors you use. You're going to need some scissors, a laminator, and some laminating pouches. Now, over the years, I've discovered that some of those really, really bright papers are actually really hard to see. So I'd actually don't like, I've got a red set here. They're actually a bit hard to read for some kids. Okay, so that's an issue. These lighter ones, like a light blue, which is that lighter colors are much easier to read, and same with greens. But so some of those really, really bright colors are actually too hard for the kids to actually read. There's too much. So just be mindful of that. You know your kids and what colors are going to work best for them. Okay, so step one. Print out all the texture terms onto coloured paper. If you're making several sets for the classroom, try using different colour for each set. And as I just showed you, and like here's like a lemony colour one there, okay. And in here you can see that there's some other colours as well. All right. So as I said, depending on how many sets you need, for me, I tend to do either 5 or 6 sets, usually 6 sets, because that means for the most kids I get in the classroom are 30. We're capped at 30. So it means that there's 5 kids to a set, which is about a good number. Okay. But as I said, depends on if you've got more kids in the classroom, you might want to do more sets. It's up to you. It's up to you. All right. The next thing, you're going to cut out each set for the memory matching games. Do not fold. I said, I'll show you that on another day. Do not fold, cut them out separately. Okay. So that means that each card is separate. So you've got a term and a definition, okay, separately. All righty, I'm not saying those two match because I don't know. I didn't look at that, but cut them out separately. Big hint. I made the mistake a couple of years ago of kids wanted to help me. I thought, okay, I'll let you cut them out. Bad move. It was dodgy as. I seriously cut it out so bad. It wasn't funny. So I was like, no, I don't do it anymore like that. But what I tend to do is print them all off at work, come back home, and I pretend that I'm working by sitting down, watching TV and cutting things out and laminating, cutting. I said, it's a really relaxing job and you feel productive because you actually got something done. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's step 2, cut them out and cut them out individually. Number 3, put them onto your laminating pouch. Okay, so here you can see on the, I'm really bad with left and right, where it's got the cards all laid out. Anyway, these are in the laminating pouches ready to go. Now, if you really look, you're better off if you're going to do something, batch it, like do every single set all in one go. Okay, so it might take a bit of time, but it's much quicker actually if you batch it. Now, the other thing is when you're using your laminating pouches, you'll discover that even though you're printing 8 cards to a page, you'll actually get 9 on a laminating pouch. You actually get that there's actually enough space to that. And so once you've put them on into the laminating pouches, you obviously feed them through the laminator, okay, or laminator, I should say. There's my lovely little laminator there. Okay, and then step 4, cut out the cards and trim away any laminating sheet if there's too much. Now, you'll find, depending on how well you set them up, okay, these ones have been cut out, and I'll try and put it nice and close, but see how there's a bit of a, you can see the edge there of the laminating pouch around it. Okay, the laminating, it means that that's been trimmed away, okay, if it was too much. Now, there are 2 schools of thought. I worked with a lovely lady who never cut out, laminated, and cut out again. She would print out, laminate, then cut. That does my head in. And they don't last as long because I find that the laminating stuff sort of peels off the paper a bit. It really does. It's just like, and the sets don't last as long. So if you want them to last, I suggest cut, laminate, cut. I know it's extra steps, but it does work better. And then step 5, your cards are now ready. Okay, so try storing them in Ziploc bags or small containers ready for use. So as I've already shown you, so these are, the good old sandwich bags. Now the trick is, the thing is, if you're doing multiple sets, you can do all your colors. I've just got 3 sets here. I've got another thing, but then you've got all your colors, your sets all put together, and then you put them, I put them into a container, and then I put on the top, like, these are texture or pitch or duration or whatever it happens to be. Or there's these lovely sets. I know I've got mine in Spotlight, and there's actually, I think, 8 things, and it comes in another tub. And so there's actually 2 sets into that little container here. Alrighty. And you could, if you want to, you could put a label or something on there as well. Okay. So there's that. All right. So now to some games. All right. So texture term cards game 1. Now, I suggest if you're going to do this, and do it in this order. This way, the kids can actually learn, and it's easier to play the memory game. Okay, so what I like to do first is I've taught the texture terms. All right, using them like what I showed you the other week. Using the 1 pages, they've written out the terms. They've learnt the terms. We've done something with the terms. Now, to help it cement it in their little minds, is to actually play couple of games. And again, this really does help them. So hand out the cards, get the kids to spread out the cards all face up. Alrighty. And as a group, students just work together to match all the terms correctly. Now, I always do this first in the class, and then I usually do it as a competition. Okay, whichever group wins first, they get some lollipops. Okay, and the kids love doing it, and they work hard, and they actually work together, and all those sorts of things, and they have a lot of fun doing it. The second game, so I always start with match it first, because I need to be able to make sure that they've got all the pairs too, so that nothing's missing. And the next one is memory. Okay, good old memory. I'm sure you've played that with a normal deck of cards. But firstly, you hand out all the cards, and then you can put the students into pairs or small groups again, and each group spreads out the cards but puts them face down this time. So you can see here that this color, you could actually see through it a little bit, whereas depending on the color of the page, you can't always. So the red set and the blue set that I've got here, it's not actually very easy to see that, but you can sort of see that term, but it's really hard to read this bit. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Okay. So once they've spread out the cards all face down, so that's not all the cards, that's just some of them. Students have a turn to flip 2 cards over. Now, if the cards match with a term and a definition, then they keep that pair. If it doesn't, they flip the card and put it back down. Now, if they match it, depending on the way you play it, you might want to go, okay, you get to have another go. Or they just keep going round and round till all the cards are actually connected up or matched up, as said. But match it first, and then memory second. And it's usually about a whole lesson, okay? And again, if you've got winners, they can actually win prizes. But why would you want to play a game in the first place? Firstly, engagement. The kids love playing these things. They are learning by stealth. They don't know they're actually learning. Cooperative learning is another great reason why they're doing it. And it helps them to remember, because it locks it in. It locks those things in. Oh, that's right. I played that game. We used the yellow set and blah, blah, blah. And they remember things. Okay. It's fun. And it's a bit of competition. There's nothing wrong with a bit of healthy competition. Okay. So that's the main reason I actually play and use these cards. But the benefits, there's even more than this. This is just some of the ones I came up with off the top of my head. They enjoy in the lesson. They love it. They love working with their friends and having that opportunity. It really does cut down on classroom misbehavior. They don't realize they're actually learning. As I said, learning by stealth. It's student-centered. They're the ones learning and teaching each other. It's not about you in the classroom. It's about them. Okay, and that's what we want. Students need to learn. Highly engaging. Helps build classroom and small group connections. Okay, so there's always kids who are a bit on the outer, and you're smart. You work out who should be actually working with who. Okay, and it then helps build those positive relationships with their peers. Okay, if they can actually build relationship with another kid in that classroom, it's always going to be a much better classroom. And again, helps to develop those communication skills and those problem solving skills. How are they actually working with each other? How are they talking to each other? How are they making sure people follow the games and the rules? Okay, all those wonderful things. So thanks for watching. Okay, I'm sorry that I didn't do this last night. I always stuffed up. You can find plenty of music classroom resources ready for you to use next lesson in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. So you can click the link in the description below. I'll make sure I put it there this time. Or if you go to Teachers Pay Teachers and go Jooya Teaching Resources, you'll find me, okay, pretty easily. And if you'd like to know more information about the element of music on texture, please pop over onto my blog, Jooya, and you will find stacks of things on texture that is free and ready for you to use and just use in your classroom right now. So I'm just going to stop share. And I'm also going to say goodbye because I can't believe I stuffed up last night and I've had to redo this morning. But again, if you want anything, please go and have a look or email me or put a message in Facebook here. Anyway, sorry that I stuffed up last night, but I did it again anyway. Thanks, everyone. Bye.